All right, let's talk about something that's on a lot of people's minds, economic uncertainty. But you know what? Instead of getting caught up in the fear, we're going to build a clear, actionable plan. We're going to dive into some brilliant strategies from financial expert Ramit Sethi and build a 3-step plan that you can literally start using the second this is over. And let's start right here with this quote. Ramit says that if you are even thinking about what might happen, if you're a little worried about your job or the economy, you are already so far ahead of the curve. Seriously, the fact that you're here, watching this, means you're being proactive, and that, right there, is a huge advantage.
So, how do we go from feeling worried to being strategic? Well, this is where Ramit Sethi, the author of the bestseller I Will Teach You to Be Rich, comes in. His whole philosophy for a recession isn't about panicking. It's about playing chess, not checkers. It's about making smart, strategic moves now so you can come out on top later.
So here's our game plan. We're going to start with the right mindset. Then we'll get right into Ramit's 3-part CEO method. That's cut, earn, and optimize. After that, we'll face the big one, preparing for layoffs, and we'll wrap it all up with the single most important principle to remember. Sound good? Let's do it.
Okay, this brings us to the core of the whole strategy. Instead of feeling like the economy is just happening to you, the CEO method is all about putting you in the driver's seat. It's about you taking charge of your financial life, just like a CEO runs their company.
And the method itself, it's beautifully simple. C is for cut costs. But we're going to do this surgically, not with a sledgehammer. E is for earn more, because yes, there are still opportunities out there. And O is for optimize spending, and this one is like a secret weapon for finding money you didn't even know you had.
First up, the C in CEO, cut costs. Now look, this is usually where financial advice gets really depressing, right? They tell you to stop buying lattes. Ramit's approach, it's completely different and way, way more effective. The key here is to be precise. You don't slash and burn everything. Forget about the $5 coffees. Instead, you act like a financial surgeon. You go into your budget and you find the 2 or 3 biggest expenses that aren't absolutely essential. That way you get the maximum impact without having to sacrifice every little thing you enjoy. And to show you how serious this can be, Ramit told this incredible story about a couple who were 6 months away from their wedding. His advice to them was, cancel it. Whoa, right? But why? Because in uncertain times, having that cash on hand today is so much more valuable than a big party 6 months from now. It's a really tough choice, but it is an incredibly proactive, powerful move.
Okay, so we've talked about cutting. Now let's flip the script and talk about the E in our CEO method. Earn more. This is a big one, because a lot of people just assume it's impossible when the economy is shaky.
This is a huge myth we need to bust right now. Even when things are tough, the economy doesn't just grind to a halt. People still buy things, they still look for entertainment, they still pay for solutions to their problems. The spending doesn't disappear, it just shifts. And here is a fantastic example of that shift in action. There was a student in one of his classes who used to only teach art classes in person. When things got tough, did she give up? Nope, she pivoted. She started teaching people how to draw online and found a whole new market of customers. It's a perfect example of seeing where the spending has moved and then meeting that new demand. And that brings us to the O in the CO method, optimize spending. And I got to tell you, this might be the most powerful and immediate way to free up cash, and it's something almost nobody ever thinks to do. So let me just ask you this. What if you could save potentially thousands of dollars this year without changing a single thing about your lifestyle? I know, it sounds way too good to be true, but it's actually shockingly simple.
The answer is these 5 phone calls. That's it. You just call your providers, your cell phone company, cable, credit cards, any loans you have, maybe even your landlords. And you use a really simple script. You just say, "Hi, I've been a loyal customer for a long time. With the way the economy is, I'm just looking at all my options. Is there anything you can do for me?"
The results here can be absolutely staggering. A lot of people who make these calls report getting their bills lowered on the spot, sometimes by as much as 50%. That's real money that goes directly back into your pocket, ready to build up that emergency fund. We're talking about a 10-minute phone call that could save you thousands. Okay, so the CEO method, that's our offense. It helps us build a much stronger financial position. But in a recession, we also need a really strong defense. So let's just go there. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, the fear of being laid off. Ramit has a clear, no-nonsense plan for this too. It's all about being prepared, not paranoid.
This 6-step plan is your defensive playbook. It starts with just accepting reality and being honest about the risk in your industry. But the most important parts are proactive. You alert your network that you're open to opportunities before you need to. You start brainstorming side gigs. Remember, it is always, always easier to find a job when you already have one. And maybe most importantly, you challenge those old beliefs like, I don't have time, or I don't have any other skills. This could actually be the perfect push to make a really positive change.
So, let's bring this all home. We've talked about cutting costs, earning more, optimizing your spending, and even preparing for the worst-case scenario. But what's the one big idea that ties this all together?
At the end of the day, all of this planning, all this work, it's for one simple reason: to give yourself options. When you have a plan, when you have a cash cushion, you are never forced into a corner. You don't have to accept a terrible job offer. You don't have to rack up bad debt just to survive. You stay in control.
And that brings us right back to where we started. This is the mantra: live to fight another day. Things might feel tough right now, but this is a season. It's not a life sentence. By playing smart, defensive offense today, you guarantee you're still in the game tomorrow, ready for all the incredible opportunities that always follow a downturn.
So, I'll leave you with this question. After all this, what's your action plan? What's the one phone call you're going to make, the one cost you're going to analyze, or the one new opportunity you're going to explore starting today? The power really is in your hands.